All right, and we are in there, and your photo starts to move. Hello, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're in the midst of technical difficulties. I am slowly disappearing away from the screen right now, but that's okay because I'm going to make myself come back somehow. And we're going to get real close to B. We're going to get real right in his face so everybody can see how beautiful little man he is. There he is. Well, thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us this evening. We got some sports to talk about. Hopefully, if you've been watching us, thanks for returning. If you know somebody that likes sports, tell them to watch us and subscribe to us. If you like the show, please hit the like button. And again, thanks for joining us. So, B, you got the hat on, so you know where we're going to start. So, for those who don't know or have been under some type of very, very large rock, the Warriors are going back to the finals after a 3-year hiatus. This, I think, will be their 5th or 6th time in the past 10 years, if I'm correct.
They're calling it 6 and 8 years.
6 and 8 years. So good times. B, how you feeling right now, man?
I still ain't got off my high about this yet. This is the most satisfying time that the Warriors have been to the finals. I think, through everything that the team went through, 15 wins 2 years ago, the injuries sustained to this team left and right, losing in the play-in tournament last year as well.
Yep.
It feels amazing, man. Like, this is some of the best. This is the joyful thing, and I cannot wait for Thursday to come around. Like, hosting the finals again. The NBA going back to putting the finals logo on the court again. That is, that's the pinnacle of any sport. There is being a part of that final round, and just to see the Warriors do it, and even after this, it feels like it never gets old. And I think that's because all the years of losing that the Warriors have endured, and the fans have seen, and to now turn this into a championship, a long championship run, it just speaks volume to what we suffered for as fans, true fans, and the bandwagon fans just only getting a taste of championship champagne. It's more satisfying when you watch your team lose, when you watch your team in a lottery pick almost year in and year out. They're adorable losers, and now they're cocky championship winners that nobody likes.
You're becoming a Lakers fan. That's what's happening to you.
It's not me, but
Similar attitude.
I do rub two faces though.
Similar attitude.
But yes, I believe we're starting to trend towards that territory there. So
yeah.
Hey, sorry, not sorry. Too bad. You want to join the bandwagon? Come on over.
Yeah, man. Well, kudos to your team. You had some interesting competition, I'll say, but I'm not gonna take anything away from you. If you stay in the game and you're healthy, then you give yourself an opportunity to win. That's what the Warriors did. And those 2 years where you had those lottery picks, although Wiseman didn't really turn up much, I mean, you guys still used your draft capital to your advantage. You went and you traded for Wiggins. You guys made some pretty good moves with Otto Porter? Yeah. You guys made some good moves with some backup guys outside of bringing Iguodala back for an unnecessary reason. I guess maybe we'll see him in the finals. But
it's hard to keep playing time, man.
Yeah,
man. He's hurt, but that boy's just collected. He's gonna be collecting another ring, and then he could call it quits. I wouldn't be shocked if he's like a player development coach.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I don't. It's like the Udonis Haslem thing, man. It's like, just make him a coach. Just put a suit on him and call it a day. There's no use to trying to drag his old ass out there. He's not going to play no more.
But the difference is he's in street clothes and Udonis Haslem still wears a uniform.
Right.
That's the difference between those two there.
I'm telling you, man. And so we're going to get into some Warriors talk. Everybody, the Celtics are playing the Heat right now, Game 7. So just a quick drop in on the game. Marcus Smart just hit a free throw, 1 of 2. We're 3 minutes into the fourth quarter. Boston has a 97-85 lead, so they're up by 12 with about 3 minutes to go. So it's looking close to a Warriors-Celtics matchup. Anyway, let's jump back into the Warriors, and you talked about kind of the road to get here. Obviously, the injury to Klay Thompson was huge. KD left after that season, and a lot of stuff happened. A lot of things happened between then and now. And to be quite honest with you, from the outside looking in, not as a Warriors fan, I really didn't anticipate the Warriors going back to the finals. I thought once we saw the injury to Klay, and then there was obviously Steph Curry got injured. I believe was it the following year, or the year after? Yeah. So I really didn't see this team getting older and coming back to this stage with that same core. So kudos to you. So that being said, I brought up a certain name there, Kevin Durant. We've talked about Durant and his legacy and stuff like that. And we'll move over to another legacy talk after this. But what happened, man? I mean,
he could have had it all.
KD left, and what happened with his season? What happened after he left?
He could have had it all. Instead, he wanted to go be the man somewhere else. I mean, just imagine KD. You may not see the NBA Finals for the rest of your career. I'm going to be dead serious with that.
That's very possible.
You're not seeing it in Brooklyn, especially if Kyrie doesn't come back, and I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't. My question with the Warriors was not if they would get back, or it was going to be more when they could get back to this. And you brought up great points. Curry, Klay, and Draymond are all in their mid-30s here.
Yeah.
And it was going to be, how are they going to handle this when they rebuild? Because they used those 2 years as a rebuilding stage here. And it worked. It was a very quick turnaround getting back to championship basketball here. And, it took a while this season for them to get back into that form, because it took almost 3/4 of the season before having them all on the court at the same time. But, man, they don't miss a beat with each other at all. Mm-hmm. And we don't talk about one guy that should be in that conversation as far as how long that team has been with, and that's Kevon Looney. He only missed one championship year, and that was the first year.
Yeah.
And he's been around ever since, and his game finally took a chance to blossom, because when you look at the centers he's had to sit behind.
Yeah.
And the people they brought in to take his role there. So at the time, he was just playing garbage minutes.
Yeah.
For the Warriors here, and then the season comes around. Obviously, Wiseman's not healthy. He becomes a starter, plays all 82 games, plays the entire postseason here. He's had a hand in every single win here with the rebounding. He deserves to be amongst that talk with those three here. To add that, and then obviously Andrew Wiggins is starting to really show out in this year. So, I like I said, man, I'm super thrilled to see this team back in the finals here. I think the biggest question that's been out there and that we could talk about now is, what is the legacy for Steph Curry going into these finals here?
Yeah.
Just to call the first ever Magic Johnson Western Conference Final MVP, which I'm pretty shocked that the NBA wanted to do something like that. I know they're paying homage to 75 years, but the NFL don't hand out an MVP for their conference championships.
Yeah, they don't. I mean,
what do you feel?
I don't mind it so much. To be honest, Steph Curry is deserving of that. I felt like he's played in enough finals to the point to where the fact he's played in 4 and he hasn't won one, right? Has he won one?
Oh, he hasn't won any.
So that to me, that is extremely, extremely bizarre. He's been the best player on the team for a while, and I don't even think it's close. He's been better than Klay Thompson. He's a better player than Draymond Green. And you can make arguments where you would like, but I don't think any Warriors fan is going to argue that Steph Curry is not the leading player on that team. So I think that them giving it to Andre Iguodala that first year was a mockery. I think that was stupid. And, I don't know what they were giving him credit for. LeBron James averaged like 40 points a game that final. So obviously whatever defense he was playing, it didn't do that much. He did hit a couple of big shots, but I don't think you can take away from Steph. So It's good to see him win an award. If they go to the finals, hopefully he'll have an opportunity to win that one too. I don't mind the award. I don't mind the awards, man, because to be honest with them, there's awards for everything. There's guys with dunk contest trophies floating around in the league right now, so that doesn't bother me that much. That doesn't bother me that much, man. I just hope that it seems fitting that Curry gets some type of publicity for that, and that he gets some notoriety, a little bit more notoriety in the trophy territory that he deserves, because I think it's a long time coming for him. So yeah, give him the Magic Johnson Award. Why not? He deserves it.
Now let's talk about all time, because I've been kind of floating around with it here. I think he has to enter the all-time. He's got to enter that top 10 all-time greatest player if he pulls this off here.
You're saying if he wins a championship?
Well, no. If he pulls this MVP Finals trophy this year, he's got to enter that conversation as one of the top 10 greatest here.
Well, the way I kind of look at it is, and forgive me for having some issues with the video here, but the way I look at it is, I kind of look at it as from a positional standpoint. Okay, so just quick FYI, 18 seconds left in the game. The lead has been cut to 2. Miami has had to foul, so now Miami's had to foul Boston. Boston's going to the line, so this game really got close quickly. Anyway, so forgive me while I kind of struggle with the video here, but I think you kind of have to look at it by position. We're getting closer and closer to UB. I really got to figure this thing out. But I think you have to figure it out by position. And if you look at position wise, I think Steph Curry is easily going to be probably one of the top 3 to 5 guards in the history of the league. If you look as far as point guards, and I guess that's the position that we will put him in. He's not necessarily your traditional point guard. You think about John Stockton or Jason Kidd or some of those guys, but he single-handedly changed the game from that position with his 3-point shooting. So I think I don't know if him winning a Finals MVP helps solidify that. I think he's already that good. Top 10 player all time is difficult. Okay, and top 10 player all time is difficult because you have to really look at all the names that are there, and you have to see where you think Curry will fit. You know what I mean? So I think even if he wins a championship, he gets 4 championships. He's Finals MVP. Maybe that does put him in the top 10. But time will tell. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know if this necessarily makes him, in my eyes, I don't think his legacy changes. If he wins now and he gets, I think he was always good, at least in my eyes. Steph Curry to me is known as a player that changed the game with his style of play, not necessarily how many championships he won. You know what I mean? And that he's kind of like Shaq, right? Shaq only won 4, right? Shaq won 4 championships. He won 3 with the Lakers, 1 with Miami. What I remember Shaq for is being a force of nature in the league. That's what I remember Shaq for. He was an extremely dominant player and changed the game with his size and athleticism. So I think Curry is the same thing for him. He can win 4. He can get the MVP. I don't know if it puts him in the top 10, and that's really tough for me to say. There's a lot of great players there. You got Jordan, you got Bird, you got Kareem, you got Magic, you got Kobe, you got even LeBron still playing. There's lots of other players that you can throw in there, but I wouldn't. I'll put it this way: he has a good argument to be he has a good argument to be there. He has a good argument to be there.
I'm gonna kind of extend it a little bit. I think he's on the cusp. I think he sits at 11 right now, behind all those players. Mm-hmm. What if he gets to 6 titles?
I don't think he's gonna get to 6, but. Yeah, if he gets to 6, then yeah, absolutely, that changes the argument because not a lot of guys have that on their resume. So yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that. but there are very
Get to six, Curry.
there are very few guys that are on that list, man. So that's where it's going to be a little bit tough. Is how do you win 2 more championships? Your guys are getting older. In 2 to 3 years, you're going to be 38 years old. Or excuse me, 30, about 36, 36, 37.
At that time.
Yeah, so you got to hope you got some of that LeBron magic. Otherwise, you're going to start to deteriorate like most players do. Quick check-in. The Boston Celtics have officially won. So they beat the Miami Heat in 7 games. They won 100-96 in Game 7. Al Horford going to the finals for the first time in his career. So we will see a Celtics-Warriors matchup.
Those are the 2 and 3. The Celtics and Warriors are the 2 teams that have the most championships outside of the Lakers in that group.
Of these last 4 teams?
The last. Well, overall, it goes Lakers and Celtics.
Yeah,
with title.
And then tied to 17.
I think the Warriors follow right behind them.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. I think so. Because you guys, I forget you guys got that Philadelphia one floating around there.
Bring up the Milwaukee Lakers, the Great Lakers that have titles.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
They count.
That's true.
They count the franchise.
All right, and just go.
So yeah, I think it is. I think those are the top 3 franchises to have titles going at it this finals.
Yeah, so I think your face is getting bigger and bigger, dude. I really got feel. Anyway, so yeah, we got. Thank you guys for staying with us. We're hardworking gentlemen. We do the best that we can, and sometimes, well, shit breaks.
It's breaking right now.
Because we are getting progressively closer to my man B, and I cannot figure out why. Anyway, so get back to
Anyways, back to it. I think if Curry can pull this off, and they get this championship, and he gets his elusive NBA Finals MVP. I mean, when you look at it, that's all he's missing from his resume. He's got every award you can think of outside of that NBA Finals MVP. And I think he should have 2 of them. The 2014-2015 season, and then the second title with Durant, I think that should have been his. He played better than Durant did, obvious. That's just in my opinion there, but rightfully so, Durant earned it.
Yeah.
I think he enters top 10. I think he enters top 5 if he can get to 6 titles.
Yeah.
Just like you said, for everything he's done. But not only that, there's a once in a lifetime player that comes in and changes the game, for a good thing. Now, like you said, Shaq was the guy. The only position that's ever stayed current is the guy you're seeing right now: LeBron James, Michael Jordan. Jason Tatum is starting to blossom into that role. Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Though that position has always stayed the same. There's no one who's really been in there to change it. That's a position you don't change. But the point guard was known for a guy to just run the offense, pass the ball. You weren't looking at a score from the point guard position. And then here comes Curry.
Yeah.
And he's the reason why that 3-point shot is popular than it has ever been.
Yeah.
You had guys like Ray Allen and Reggie Miller living from behind the arc, but they weren't living from behind the arc like Curry did and the things that he did. So not only can he run the offense, not only can he handle the ball, but he can get you over 30 points if he really wanted to.
Right.
So, if he can get to 6, I think he becomes a top 5 player in that discussion there. He ranks with them. And if he throws in a couple of extra NBA finals in there, by all means. But, I mean, I think with one final, in that top 10 list, not one of those guys has a unanimous MVP.
Yeah, and that's why I say you have to kind of wait out and see what happens. You know what I mean? Because if somehow LeBron ends up winning 5, I think LeBron will be. If LeBron wins 5 championships, he'll be considered probably one of the greatest players of all time, top 3. If he wins 6, then there's no argument anymore. So you just kind of have to wait. But if he don't win anymore, then there's always going to be like, oh well, he was really really good, but was he as good as this guy? Was he as good as So it really depends on what happens towards as guys move forward in their career. So I think let's see. So I'm gonna check in on the chat. So got an evening gentleman from Victoria. Good evening, good evening, Victoria.
Hope you enjoyed the food just cooked.
And we got a message from Jerome. Let's go Warriors. I guess Steph get him his MVP and let's get it over with. I don't want to see Boston get 18 in my lifetime. Me neither, but oh man.
We got anybody else? Anybody else in the chat?
No, that's it. That's it for now. I'll check back in.
Let's talk about our picks here. We were almost on the money there.
Yeah,
Tasha,
close.
You got the Celtics in 7. You missed the Warriors by a game.
Yep.
I had the Warriors on point, and then I missed the Celtics by a game, and they could have easily won Game 6 at home.
Yeah.
And then Doug Hughes had the same picks that I had, so he missed the Celtics by a game here. So we're gonna throw this away as far as prediction goes, and let's talk about the NBA Finals because
all right. It's that time.
Ready to go here. We're not even gonna talk about Game 7. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics here, but let's talk about it here. What we've been waiting to discuss: the NBA Finals, Warriors and Celtics. You've got a team driven on defense. I think both teams. This is going to be another good defensive matchup here in my mind.
Oh yeah.
You've got a lot of defensive talent up and down this court here. But let's talk about matchups here. We're going to talk about matchups. I'm going to start off. We're going to lead it off with Curry. You're going to see a lot of Marcus Smart draped all over Curry.
Yeah.
Like a fly on shit. He is all over him. That's going to be a fun matchup here, is how they're going to run Marcus Smart through these screens here and how they're going to get him off these screens as well. And then the switches that they're going to try to get, I think Boston is going to try to get Tatum matched up with Curry on the offensive end there.
They're going to try to get everybody matched up with Curry on the offensive end. Yeah.
And so that's going to be a fun matchup here. I think for me, that's the matchup I look forward to, is Curry going against the Defensive Player of the Year, because that's the matchup that the Celtics are going to key on.
Yeah.
What do you see as a top matchup between these two?
So I think that the matchup to look for in this game, in my eyes, is going to be the story of the bigs and lack thereof. So the issue. No, really, the Warriors have played against fairly small team, or they played against a very small Dallas Mavericks team, and have continued to play small throughout the entire playoffs. That's just how they play. Draymond Green has been a guy who's played heavy minutes. Kevon Looney has come in and contributed, but he's not a guy that plays 40 minutes a night. He can't give you that. So you're going against a three-headed monster that does three different things. Okay, the Celtics have three bigs: Grant Williams, Robert Williams, and Al Horford. Okay, Al Horford's at about 6'10", Williams is about 6'11", and Grant is Draymond Green size. He's about 6'8", 6'9". Okay, so
he was a bully today in the paint, though.
These guys bring the energy, all three of them, every single game. And they're going to be a much different challenge than what the Warriors have seen in previous matchups, because they haven't really had to play against any bigs with any type of skill. The only big that they play with any skill is, I don't know, Steven Adams maybe? No. Justin Jackson Jr. or Jaren Jackson Jr., who really didn't do much with Memphis after after John went down, but I don't think any of those guys you guys have played, they're nowhere near these three dudes. So I think the matchups you're looking for really is going to be a game of one is rebounds. That's the first thing. You're going to have guys that are going to be extremely aggressive or on the boards. You're not going to be able to ask Draymond Green to cover those three guys by himself, because he's not going to be able to cover a lob threat in Robert Williams. He's going to be playing a guy of equal strength and a guy who's been in the league for a long time in Al Horford. And then I can switch him out and I can put in Grant to substitute for the time whenever those other two guys get tired. So the difficulty for the Warriors, one, is going to be rebounding the ball. Can you still be physical? Can you still be present in the paint enough to keep the Celtics off the boards, because what the Celtics will do is they will use those guys to get the boards. Those guys are smart enough, at least two of them are smart enough and quick enough to push the ball ahead. That's Horford and Grant Williams. Push the ball ahead and get into the offense quickly, because that's what the Celtics want to do. That's what they did to the Heat tonight. They blitzed them. And the only way you can do that is if you rebound the ball. So I think a lot of what is going to happen will be around what the Warriors can do on the offensive and defensive boards. I think as far as shooting goes, we know that the Warriors have a clear advantage, but we also know that, Celtics can knock down threes when the opportunity presents itself. They can still score the ball. And I don't know if the Warriors are as good of a defensive team as the Miami Heat are. So there will be some opportunities for the Celtics to get in the paint, and you gotta be able to get in front of a guy like a 6'7", a 6'7" Jason Tatum, a 6'6", 6'5" Jaylen Brown. Marcus Smart likes to get heady and get to the rim himself. Kobe White has been great for them off the bench. They're a really good deep team, so you're not going to have a clear advantage outside of just your shooting. So I think the Warriors are going to have to really buckle down defensively and try to find a way to out-rebound this team and get into their offense and pivot into their offense into their offense quickly in the normal Warrior way, because this team is a lot quicker, a lot younger, and a lot more athletic than the previous teams that they played against, especially on the defensive end. So I think that's kind of the key to this series is, what do y'all look like in the paint? If y'all go out there and y'all think you can't bully this team, you're not going to be able to outwork this team. That's not what's going to happen. You're not going to go in and we're just going to grind. You guys, the Warriors are not a grinded team. They're a team that plays very well with finesse. They move the ball in. They move bodies. They move positions. They cut. They slash. They do everything they need to get open. But as far as physicality, you're not going to win that game against the Celtics. So you're going to have to make sure that you find a way to rebound that basketball.
I'll tell you this. Those cross-court passes, those laxitative.
Yeah, don't do. Yeah,
they ain't gonna work in this series. No. If we're gonna see them. If they work, the Warriors are gonna get away with it. But the Celtics are a really good defensive team here. I think if it turns into a shootout, it's gonna be advantage Warriors all day. I think they have those extra players that are gonna get hot. Otto Porter Jr. was playing great until he got hurt.
Yeah, he was.
He was finally getting buckets here.
So was Gary Payton, the second, yeah.
And Gary Payton, and those two players may find themselves back on the roster in time for game 1, from what Steve Kerr says, with all this rest that they're getting. They haven't played since Thursday, and they had the whole weekend off to really to get healthy here. I don't think we'll get an Andre Iguodala sighting. I think we're switching up players.
Yeah.
I think when you look at it from these matchup standpoints on the defensive end, I cannot wait to watch Wiggins and Thompson against Brown and Tatum. That is going to be a fun defensive matchup strategy for both teams there.
Yeah. It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be really.
You mentioned a lot of good things that the Celtics have been doing here. But let's be honest, I'm going to bring it up because it's the same thing that happened to the last two opponents that the Warriors have played. And this is going to be experience versus inexperience here. There's not one man on that Celtics roster that has made it this far.
Yeah.
And, I really enjoyed Tatum's game. And now this is where it's going to take place here. The Warriors aren't going to go into a panic mode the minute they get down 15-20. You just don't see that from them. They chip away. They get back into it. They do a couple half-court offensive sets. And once those stops start coming for them, then the buckets start coming for them as well. But it's good. This is going to be fun, man. And I think if Curry can outwork Marcus Smart here, and I can't wait to watch Marcus Smart and Draymond go at it. Because those two are going to find a way to get each other.
Somebody's going to flop. Marcus Smart's going to flop. That's who's going to flop.
End up in the row of the stands from half flopping. I'll tell you that. It would look like the soul got sucked out of him, straight out of like something like Stranger Things or something, man. They just all turned
Shout
on
out
him.
Stranger Things.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I think this is the Warriors championship to win. This is their best matchup outside of the. I mean, they've only seen two teams since they've been making these final runs. Four of them came against the Cavaliers. The fourth one was just a cakewalk through the finals. It was just LeBron and no one else.
Yeah.
They saw an upstart Raptors team, but this is probably their strongest opponent because of the depth that they bring here. I still take the Warriors bench over the Celtics bench because you can find you have scores coming off that bench. This is going to be Jordan Poole's series now. The points are going to have to come through him off that bench there, and he's going to have to step it up there.
So I mean, you're talking about matchups, and and like I said, I think it's going to be those bigs and how they look at as far as how they match up in the interior and what the Warriors can do rebounding the ball. What are there? What players are we not talking about? Maybe that we should. I mean, is there someone who's your? And you might have already said it, but who's your X factor guy for the Warriors that's going to have to show up and play out in order for them to win this series?
Otto Porter Jr.
Really?
I'm gonna go Otto
Okay,
Porter.
all right.
I think Jordan Poole will be able to get his in this series here, but it's gonna be Porter Jr. because he's that fifth player that can knock it down from beyond the arc there. And when he gets going, that's 12, 15 points that you get out of him.
Yeah.
And I don't see anyone on the Celtics bench being able to get that production like you're gonna get from Otto Porter Jr. here. He will be my dark horse. If he is healthy and he is good to go, he's their X factor there. Because if Jordan Poole doesn't get going, you have to find someone else, and he's their next guy.
Yeah.
You're not getting 15 to 20 from Gary Payton Jr. He's going to be more on the defensive side to slow everyone down. But we're talking scoring wise, I'm looking at Otto Porter Jr. to be that guy, to really get the Warriors over the top here. Who do you see from the Celtics side?
Yeah, so I think it's Al Horford. It's Al Horford because to me, I really feel like this game is going to be about what happens on the interior instead of the 3-point shooting. I know that everybody gets jazzed up about 3-pointers and making big shots, and that's all well and good. But in the finals, it's a different it's a different style of game. And the game will slow down some, and the points will come down some. And that's just because there's more on the line. So players are playing at a different level. They're not out there just carefree throwing the ball around because of how much is at stake. In the moment and so I really think the missed shots, who collects those shots, those missed shots, will inevitably be the winner. And I think Al Horford is the guy that presents a challenge to the Warriors that they haven't faced in the entire playoffs, which is a big who's capable of rebounding, passing, and shooting mid-range shots. And they're not really used to guarding that. The Warriors are very good at times to even play a zone because the idea is to just keep folks out of the interior. But but we're talking about perimeter players driving into the interior of the paint. We're not talking about bigs who are catching the ball in the middle of the paint. That's not an area necessarily that they're always dealing with. And Al Horford isn't really a guy, if you're not watching the Celtics, who's catching the ball in the post and trying to back down Draymond Green. That's not what he does. He really is out there just to set the table for everybody else. So you got his flexibility on the offensive end is he's coming up to set a screen for Tatum. He can either drive in the lane or he can float out to the 3-point line. He's been shooting the ball really well from 3. So he presents this sort of problem for the Warriors where they have to make sure they at least honor him and respect him and know where he is on the floor. Whereas in the past, with some of the bigs that they've been playing, they haven't really had to respect them at all. There wasn't a big in the Mavericks that they had to think about. Josh Powell, or not Josh, his name's not Josh Powell, but Powell, can't hit his first name. Dwight Powell, not Josh Powell. Dwight Powell, what wasn't really a factor in the game. The series before that against, Steven Adams didn't come back until the fourth or fifth game of the fourth game of the series after being injured. And then Jaren Jackson Jr. was pretty much a no-show through a majority of that series and is a very young and unpolished player. So my guy is Al Horford because they got to find a way to make sure that they don't give up points to people that In other words, you don't need somebody else to blow up. Tatum can go off, you can win a game. Jaylen Brown can go off, you can win a game. But if one of those guys and Al Horford get going, and Al Horford's averaging 20 points a game, now we got a problem. Because that also means that if he's averaging 20 a game, he's probably taking most of his shots in the paint, which means he's getting rebounds, which means he's getting offensive rebounds. So, those are the type of things that are going to be, in my opinion, really important in this series.
Yeah, the Warriors going to have a lot more to worry about. The last 3 series, they've let one guy go off and telling somebody else they got to beat them.
Yeah.
But that's happening in this series here. Boston has solidified scorers on that roster there. So you have to pay attention to, I think, 3 of those players, and you mentioned them. Tatum, Brown, and Al Horford are the guys they have to key on. Al Horford is a master from 15 feet. But the problem is he can get you 3 straight threes.
Yeah.
And he's done it 3 series. That's a threat. He can go over 20 at any point there. Brown's the same way. Tatum's the same way. Marcus Smart may even get 15 here.
Yeah, he's up and down.
he's up in the air. But if you were to sit there and say Smart versus Draymond, right. So all day. But Draymond brings a different aspect to that table.
Right.
He runs the offense outside of Marcus Smart, who destroys the offense when he starts bringing the ball up the court and kicking it into the first row of the stands there. So, do we have anybody in the chat right now?
No other comments yet.
So let's do some goofy predictions here. Let's talk Al Horford versus Kevon Looney. Who wins the rebounding matchup?
Well, I think Looney could still win the rebounding matchup. My only concern is that there's more than one guy that can rebound on the Boston Celtics. So the Warriors, again, the Warriors have been doing this thing where they've been asking Andrew Wiggins and other smaller guys to collapse in the paint to help with the offensive with the boards, because Kevon Looney is a great player, but again, Kevon Looney is not playing 40 minutes a game. He's gonna play 20 minutes, maybe 25, and that's it. So he's not going to be on the floor the entire night. He's not going to be a guy who's going to sort of be there in crunch time moments. In most cases, he could be. I could be wrong, but in most crunch time scenarios, you guys play the small lineup. That's the death lineup. That's who you want out there. So Kevon could beat out one guy in rebounding, but he ain't going to beat out all 3 of them because they generally play 2 bigs together.
We're going to talk strictly one guy. And it's Al Horford versus Kevon.
Yeah, he can out rebound them because he's only got one job.
Yeah, his job is just to rebound and try to breathe on the court. That's his other job.
Yeah, don't sweat it. Don't sweat everywhere.
I'm not give him too much time, but damn, 5 minutes into the game,
he's
it looks like
dripping.
All the air has been taken out of him.
Yeah.
Who's going to get the most technicals, Marcus Smart or Draymond Green?
This is going to be Draymond. Because it's gonna be Draymond. Because Marcus Smart does stupid stuff, but he doesn't necessarily get upset. You know what I mean? He just does dumb stuff. Like he'll flop or he does some silly stuff on offense. But we're talking about for technicals. His main deal is just flopping. Draymond's issue is not getting a foul call and getting really mad at the referees. Draymond's issue is getting mad at the refs and being upset about a certain circumstance. Smart doesn't really necessarily get upset as much as he does just do weird stuff on the defensive end of the ball. So I think it's going to be Draymond because this is going to be a very physical series. And the type of plays that we saw happen in the Grizzlies game, which was also a very physical series, is something you want to try to avoid this time around. So the Warriors need to avoid the slap, grab the jersey, technical, get ran foul in the finals, right? You can't let that happen. So I think Draymond will still end up with probably he'll get like one technical. I don't think he's gonna get that many. But I just it's gonna be a physical game. He's not gonna want to give up layups, which I completely understand. But with the way that the league is being called, he's gonna have to be very careful about those types of fouls. You don't want to give up the layup, Draymond. Totally understand. Try going vertical. Okay, you're gonna foul a guy hard. Make sure you grab him before he goes up. If he's already in the air, the best you can do is put both hands up and try to steer the shot away, but do not grab, do not pull. Because those are the type of things that are going to end up changing games.
Okay, so you have Draymond with technicals. I've
Draymond.
got to go Draymond.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
so we're both in agreement. Kevon Looney wins the rebound battle over Al Horford, right?
Yep.
Draymond Green with the most technicals.
Draymond gets technicals. What's next? Points?
Let's go points. Who averages more points, Curry or Jason Tatum?
I'm gonna go Curry. And the reason I say is because it kind of has to be Curry. You know what I mean? Like it kind of has to be him. Like he has to be. And I guess I could say that in order for them to win, Tatum has to be the guy and has to average more. But I feel like Curry's been having a pretty good run. I do think this will be a little bit more of a difficult series for him versus the last couple. But I'm going to say that Curry averages more points than Tatum does throughout the finals.
I hate to say it. I'm going Tatum.
Yeah, I understand because he might have to.
That's and I would say I think the Warriors have a little more than an offensive weapon if Curry can't get going. Obviously they're going to double team him and whatnot, so a lot of the pressure will be handed to Wiggins and Thompson to carry some of the scoring on some nights there. But I think the difference with Tatum is that height.
Yeah.
He's a big 6'8" guard that is very hard to stop. And he reminds me of the guy of the wristband he was wearing tonight, number 24, of the way he can get his buckets at any point on the floor there.
Yeah.
So I think it's close. I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be Tatum. It's not going to be by much as far as outscoring Tatum. But I think he'll average just a little more than Curry does in these finals here. So let's talk. The last one before our predictions is bench. Who has the higher bench average in these finals, the Warriors or the Celtics?
Well, I think it's going to be the Warriors, and the only reason is because of Jordan Poole. I think that's it. Jordan Poole, that's it. I think the Celtics have some guys that come off the bench and that can contribute, but the guys that they have come off the bench and contribute are not, necessarily offensively talented guys who are consistent scorers. Versus Jordan Poole is a consistent scorer, and he's a guy that can give you 30 off the bench. So only because of Poole, yeah, I think the Warriors get a couple more bench points because of Poole.
Yeah. Somebody was knocking on my fucking backyard windows right now. Sorry.
It's all right. Well,
it was weird.
All right, we don't want to,
Yeah, I'm going with the Warriors on the bench as well. It's going to come down to, like I said, Poole and Otto Porter Jr. to lead them in the scoring production there.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about who wins this.
Whoo!
No, I know you don't want to see the Celtics taking one. No, you don't. But who you got?
Man, B, I hate to do this, man, but I gotta.
I'll put all the pressure on you.
Oh man.
Pressure on you. To say
I don't want to see the Celtics win 18 because I'm a Lakers fan, okay? But after watching them play and watching the Warriors play and just the clash of styles that we're going to see in this series, I think the Celtics come out victorious. I think they win this in 7 games. I think that the Warriors will come out strong. I think that the Celtics will take one in San Francisco. And I think they take one game in San Francisco, and from there it's going to be neck and neck through. I really think this team defensively puts a ton of pressure on the teams that they play. And any time that they've been called into action to make their game better, they've answered the call each time. They played in 2 Game 7s, and I know folks can look at that and say, well, they played in 2 Game 7s because they weren't good enough to win in 5 or 6. But you have to understand the opponents that they were playing in, okay? Playing against, okay? They were playing against the MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, though they were missing Middleton, you're still playing a quality player. And a team that just came off of winning the championship last year. And a team that's also top 10 defensive in the league as well. Then they play against probably the best defensive team in the league in the Miami Heat, who don't have the offense the offense, I think, as the Warriors do. So I don't think that's comparable. But the intensity and the physicality of the games that they've had to play, have been much, much more rigorous than what the Warriors have had to go up against when we talk about playing against the Memphis Grizzlies without Ja Morant, and then the who they just beat, the Dallas Mavericks, who are just Luka Doncic and friends. So the reason I think that they will win is because the Warriors are going to have to step their game up 5 more steps in order to meet this team at the level of play that they've been playing at for the past series. Because in my opinion, and of course the Warriors have their own experience to pull from because they've been champions in the past, but every team is different. Even if you have core pieces, there are different guys that come along. There are different things that are putting different guys on the team that can contribute, not contribute, turn the ball over, make mistakes, whatever. And anything can happen in when you're in a 7-game series. So I just think the Warriors have to pick their level up from playing against, an okay Grizzlies team and a overachieving Mavericks team to a team that's been good all year and was especially good the second half of the year and has continually gotten better and better and better as the playoffs have gone on. So we've seen the Warriors kind of lose steps and they've kind of fallen asleep on teams because they've had the benefit of doing so. So I want to see what they look like on the floor whenever every single minute, every single second of each game, there's pressure. Well, what does that look like? And so they've done it with teams in the past, so I won't take that away from them. But I haven't seen them do it recently. So I'd like to see what that looks like for them. I'd like to see them go out there and compete to the best of their ability. It's not that I don't think the Warriors can win the series because absolutely they can. They have the players to do it. But I think it goes 7 games. I think the Celtics end up winning in 7. And unfortunately, they will win their 18th. And then I will have to trade Russell Westbrook, trade LeBron, and trade AD and start all over again.
We're going to talk about that in just a second. But I'm taking the Warriors in 7. This is an absolute 7-game series. I don't see it. I think you're right. I think the Warriors will take game 1 because of the amount of rest that they're getting. And we all seen how the Warriors do on a lot of rest. They come out hot
swinging
that first game.
Yeah.
I think the second game the Celtics will take, and that is because of their track record on the road.
Yeah.
They have stolen 1 game on the road in each series. So I will give the Celtics that. I think it goes the same way in Boston.
Yeah.
I think the Warriors will take game 4. The Celtics will win game 3 because of that first game in the Garden, back in the finals. You're gonna have that emotion running high, but I would flip flop it as well, and because of that reason is all those players have not been in the finals at home for the first time, so I think that's where it may slip.
Yeah, the Warriors may win game 3, and then it flops, kind of goes back and forward. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that pivotal game will go game 5. It's going to be a tie series going into that. I'd be shocked if it wasn't a tie series going into game 5.
Yeah.
And I think the Warriors end up taking that one. Obviously, they lose in Boston in game 6. They come back into game 7, erase a lot of dark memories from their last game 7, and they end up taking it in 7. So I'm going to go Warriors in 7. And everyone watching this, if you're going to watch it after this live view, leave us your comments. What do you believe will be your finals prediction? I know JJ is a Laker fan right now. I know he's watching this. I want to see you say the Warriors because I know you ain't rooting for the Celtics right now. I know you're not.
Hey, I feel your pain, JJ, but I gotta call it by the numbers, man. I gotta look at the game and watch them play.
Say it, JJ. I want to see the number there. You know you want to. This is going to be an epic series. It's going to be awesome. This is the true definition of experience versus youth here.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to that. And let's see how I would love to see how the Celtics handle it because they're going to be the team in the East that probably sees more finals appearance going forward outside of the Milwaukee Bucks. I think that they're the next team in line to make these strides. I think this was the Heat's best opportunity here, and they let it get away from them.
Yeah, it's over.
I just see them getting any further here. Jimmy Butler can't be going at his pace and expecting to get into the finals and having no energy after that.
Yeah.
He's not built like a lot of those players there. He's a dog, but he's not built to be making these deep runs and going through all that energy there.
Yeah.
But let's talk about your team, JJ. We're going to talk about your team in life, but the Lakers have finally found themselves a coach, I guess you could call it that Darvin Ham.
Hey, man, don't hate on the coach, man.
Darvin Ham is now the Lakers coach of this group here. Out of all those candidates that you got there, Taj Mahal, what do you feel?
Well, yeah. So I mean, I'm being, optimistic, but let's call it cautiously optimistic. I think Darvin Ham is kind of the same deal. You think of guys like Tyronn Lue and just former players that you bring into these roles. He's had a wealth of assistant coaching experience. He was the assistant coach with the Lakers at one point, from 2011 to 2013, and then he was also an assistant coach with the Bucks most recently. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. But to be quite honest with you, B, it really doesn't matter. They got to figure out what's going on with the roster. I mean, if they bring back these same dudes and you put Darvin Ham as the coach, it's not going to make any difference in my mind. You still have to have a healthy AD on the floor. You still have to figure out what the heck is going on with Russell Westbrook. There's been a lot of talk about them not being able to find a trade unless the Lakers give up a first-round draft pick in order to trade him. Mind you, they gave up a first and a second and a bunch of players to get him. So this is still the stupidest trade in the history of man, still. And the Lakers are going to be stubborn about it. They're not going to want to trade him for a first pick until we get to the 11th hour and they have no choice. And all this talk about waiving him and stretching him, like, none of that's going to actually happen. You're either stuck with him and he plays, or you trade him. And I think that's where it begins for me with the Lakers is you need to find a place to put Russell Westbrook. If you ask 20 Laker fans, they'll tell you right now, I don't want the dude. I don't really want to give up a first-round pick, but I'd rather give up a first-round pick than be stuck with a $47 million contract for the season, and also with LeBron James, his extension lingering this season. They don't know if he's going to be extend past next season. There's a lot of variables there. So, in my opinion, the roster is the biggest problem that the Lakers have. It's nice that they got Darvin Ham. He's got a good, he's got a nice resume going for him, but if he's going to coach the same team we had last year, then it really isn't going to matter. I really don't care. They need to fortify their roster with defensive guys, more fours, and some damn shooting. We don't need Russell Westbrook. We can take that $47 million and put it elsewhere, unless they want to just punt this season and hope for next year. So
well, you mentioned Russell Westbrook. It's not that you don't need Westbrook. You're stuck.
Correct. Correct.
You guys are stuck with him. It's the same roster.
Yeah.
I think you'll see Melo come off the books. I don't see him coming back.
No, he's not.
But there's too many big contracts on there for teams to want to take on that kind of money right now. And honestly, the LA's not a destination for a lot of players to go, I want to go play there. After seeing what happened last year, that's not a destination that you're going to want to be a part of. I think the Celtics making the finals this year, they may get better next year. I think the Mavs, if there's any team that really needs to improve, it's Dallas. But that's a whole different beast. But the Lakers may have to watch another season go to the wayside, because unless Westbrook turns on a different switch and they change the offense, and nothing changes. It runs through LeBron.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a ball dominant offense with LeBron James. He has to touch the ball. He has to be the point guard, but he has no supporting cast. Westbrook is not that supporter for him.
No,
he doesn't bring what Kyrie brought to LeBron when he was with them. He doesn't bring what Dwayne Wade had, and it's unfair to compare him to the two. But when you're LeBron's
teammate, yeah.
So
yeah,
they'll like trouble. I love it.
Yeah, well, if it comes down to it, they just need to trade the pick, because honestly, the Lakers, we've punted all of our picks away. We gave all of them up when we got AD. Now we got a championship in return, so that's fine. We'll take that. But we're starting to get into and only Lakers fans probably gonna know what I'm talking about. We're starting to get into the later years of Mitch Kupchak. Okay, when we were making all of these weird moves to bring on guys who Luol Deng contract, which was he was at the end of his career and we paid him $40-50 million for no reason. End up having to waive him. And I forgot the other guy, the big European guy. Anyway, I can't remember his name, but we made some. There you go, Mozgov, the Mozgov signing, which was another.
Mozgov.
There you go, another crappy signing. So I feel like we're getting into that territory again, where we're being desperate, and they really just need to peel back some of the layers and just find quality guys that fit what you're trying to do. You don't need a third star. You've got LeBron. He can play at this level for maybe a year, maybe two. And then at that point, you got to decide, well, we don't have LeBron anymore. Let's move on to something else and start over again if that's what you can do. Or you say, we've still got Anthony Davis. Let's retool, find another guy to pair with him. Either way, whatever it is. But my problem with the Lakers is the lack of focus on what they're trying to do. Everything from the season prior pointed to the fact that we needed more shooting. We couldn't get the shooting going. We had an injured Anthony Davis, which really hurt us against the Suns. And injuries plagued our season because we were playing with older players. So what did we do? We re-upped with the same garbage. We got even older players. And we and then on top of that, we traded all of our 3-point shooting away. In most of it in KCP. And we traded those guys away for a guy who can't shoot. So we don't have a very good plan going into this. They need to have a plan for their roster and just execute it. We need shooting. We need defense. That's all you need to do. You don't need another star. Just go find some defensive players and a shooter and be done with it. And that's it.
Well, I would like to see. I can't believe I'm going to say this.
What's that?
Donovan Mitchell.
We're not getting Donovan Mitchell, man.
If they could pull that off, because when you look at it, it could work. That's the only way I can see.
Why would they're going to trade Gobert before they trade Donovan?
But see, that's the thing, is Utah is in a rut right now.
Yeah.
Those two don't want to play with each other.
It's
clear. So Donovan needs to break out. He's stuck. I think Gobert and Westbrook could work well together. But I think what Donovan Mitchell could bring to the table may help LeBron going forward there.
Yeah.
Because Donovan Mitchell can get outside shot.
He can score.
But he doesn't need the ball. He can become an off-ball kind of person.
Right.
Which means LeBron can sit there and play. But Donovan can help out LeBron as much as LeBron can help out Donovan. That would be, I think, the Lakers' only opportunity to turn that roster around and give them a shot is if you have those two working with each other.
Yeah.
In my eye.
That only happens if the Jazz go, you know what, we're firing our coach, dumpster sale. And they, we're just we're getting rid of all these guys. We don't need Conley anymore. He's too old. Donovan is the guy we want to build around. So please, Donovan, stay. And then on top of that, Donovan would have to actually ask for a trade, in my opinion, before he goes anywhere. So a lot of chips would have to fall for it to happen that way. But I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing with Dame Lillard, right? They have to go. They pillage their entire roster. Now they're going to come back in the.
And LeBron would work. That's two ball dominant.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. But at least he can make shots. One thing you have to understand is Russell Westbrook can't shoot. I don't think you understand. He can't shoot.
I've seen that.
Okay.
The board hurts for the fans.
I mean, you can share a ball with a guy if he can shoot. I mean, he did it with Kyrie Irving. But if the guy can't shoot, that don't work for anybody. So
I think your best option to that is try to make that Donovan Mitchell. LeBron tampers with players anyways to get trades to happen. So why not reach out to Donovan Mitchell?
Trade Russell Westbrook to the Pacers for Brogdon and what's his name? Like, why can't I think of his name? We just tried to trade for him last offseason with the Kings.
Ain't that important?
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, we at this point, I'd trade Russell Westbrook for a bag of Skittles as long as we didn't have to give up first round draft pick. I mean, it doesn't matter, man.
Let's transition here. We're going to talk about another one of your teams here. And let's talk about the Raiders.
The
Kaepernick to try out for them, and obviously it doesn't look like it worked out because he walked out of there without a contract and we still haven't heard anything. is Colin Kaepernick a better quarterback than Nick?
Who?
I guess it's
Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
So,
as a Raider fan,
yeah,
having Kaepernick, I'll get on Kaepernick in a minute here, but as a Raider fan, was it the right move not to sign him? Obviously, they still have a chance to sign him, but I mean,
yeah, I think they might still bring him in the camp, but I think it's just a good look to give him an opportunity, obviously, for a tryout. He's been out of the league for a while. His last tryout was 2017. So it kind of begs to, we all want to know, like, what did he really look like in the tryout? Did he look like a quarterback that was good enough to play backup? And although there's a lot more story around Kaepernick that we're not getting into, but mainly just talking about the football story itself, I think that based on what the Raiders have as backups, yeah, I think Cap could come to camp and compete for a second or third quarterback spot. Absolutely. Nick Mullins has been in the league. He's been with the 49ers for a while and got a few starts there before falling out of favor and then moving on to Garoppolo. So I think definitely the opportunity is there. I think if you look around the league, he could definitely, if his workout looks good, he could definitely get an opportunity to be a second or third string quarterback with someone's team. I don't see why not. We talked about the Nathan Peterman saga and how that man, who has a career, 3 touchdowns and 12 interceptions for his entire career, it was traded to Chicago to be a backup and making him $1 million doing absolutely nothing at all. So if that guy can find a way to have get a job, then sure, I'm sure Cap has a chance. Now, will people sign him? I don't know. I mean, the league made a pretty clear stance that they were not going to let him come back into the league after the kneeling at the ceremony or whatever. So the league has been pretty staunch about that, even though when you get them on tape, they're saying, no, that's not what we did. It wasn't us. No. We all know the truth. I mean, you guys don't want him in the league. So you made that pretty clear. So it just remains to see if there's still some of that lingering with the owners in the league, and if there is, then Kaepernick probably won't get another chance to play football. We'll see if enough time has passed for them to offer some more shots, to offer him another opportunity, especially with what happened during 2020 and a lot of some of the social justice things that came about. The league has, of course, softened its stance over the past couple of years when it comes to some of these issues. So we'll see.
I think it's simple. Like I believe the NFL did oust Colin Kaepernick out of the league there, which was unfair to him. But 2, the boy can't read a playbook more than a fucking coloring book. Let's just be honest with it there. Like, you talk about Niner fans, you guys talk about Jimmy G not hitting open receivers. Why don't you go back and take a look at some of Colin Kaepernick's throwing? He was throwing lasers to no one. He was hitting grass and he was nowhere near a receiver. And so, I mean, yeah, he got ousted, but let's be honest too. He's not that great of a quarterback. He had 2 good years. That Super Bowl year does not count because that was Alex Smith's year. He continued it, but I don't think he was the reason why the Niners went to the Super Bowl. Alex Smith put him in that position there. That's just my opinion. But after that, there wasn't much coming from him. That's just my honest opinion. He's not a great quarterback. You know what he's going to remind me of? Is Trey Lance. He's going to be able to run for the first few years, and then after that, when he's asked to throw, he ain't going to hit nobody that's open.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy's not coming in to be a starter on anybody's team. Let's just be fair with that. I mean, I think, but I'm sorry. There are guys like Cade McNown who have been backups in the league for over 40 years. There are guys like Nathan Peterman out there who are lining the bench and just kind of collecting dollars. You couldn't name 2 backup quarterbacks in the league right now. Literally, think about it. You couldn't name 2 backup quarterbacks in the league right now unless you went and looked it up on Google. So I think based on that, yeah, if the guy has a good workout, he has an opportunity to be a backup or third string quarterback in the league, because backup and third string quarterbacks are not starters. Yeah. So I mean.
And again, I lost to Colt McCoy on a Sunday. I'm just saying they got the ass handed to them.
Colt McCoy. That guy had talent a long time ago, back when he was in college.
We'll see how that plays out again, but at least the NFL gave Colin Kaepernick a chance here. So
Absolutely.
good on you, NFL, for more publicity. Good
Let's
on you guys.
let's talk about this story that honestly I've only seen a little bit about. So baseball players are slapping each other because of fantasy football?
Man,
What the hell's going on? Don't they have baseball games to play?
I know we talked about it before the show. I know I just got into fantasy football. I kind of got roped into this, but for me, I never really gave too much cared about it until a couple years ago when I took home my first championship there, and it is a lot of fun. But man, is there so much trash talking when it comes to fantasy football? The things that are said there should never be repeated towards other people. And then at the end of the year, whoever finishes in last place has to deal with the punishment. Some guys are having to do 24 hours at Waffle House unless they eat like 20 waffles. Some guys are getting tramp stamps that says fantasy football loser.
That's not good.
It's a hazing thing. But this Reds player, who I can't pronounce his name, took offense to what Jock Peterson said of the Giants, or made a post there. They all played fantasy football within their own division, but for people who don't know, last year the Giants weren't supposed to be the one who wins the division. It was supposed to be the Padres or the Dodgers. And at the time, the guy from the Reds was playing with the Padres, and Jock Peterson made a post about the Giants being on top, then the Dodgers and the Padres, and it had to do over fantasy football. And next thing you know, there's a video that surfaces with it. Dude, and this video, I don't even know how they caught it. Like, it's a grainy-ass video, and all you see is the dude's hand go right across Jock Peterson's face, and then people rushing to break it up here. And, when I got the update on ESPN saying they were involved in an altercation, scuffle. First of all, someone getting slapped is not a scuffle. That's just being Will Smith, as Rachel will put it. Jock Peterson got Will Smith.
Oh my gosh. Can we stop with the open hand slapping grown men? Let's not do that anymore, okay? Because that's the most disrespectful thing you can do next to spitting on another man. Is
I'd rather get punched in the face than get open hand.
I mean, if we're gonna fight, then you fight. But slapping someone is almost like, it's more like an insult more than it is a start to a fight, right? It's kind of like, whoa, why did you slap me? Like, what? Wait, what?
It generally stops a fight from happening because you're like, dude, you just slapped me.
Yeah.
You just slapped me.
Right.
Like,
right.
we're gonna let's throw hands, but let's not throw open hands, okay?
Right. Exactly.
That just looks a little ridiculous, in my opinion. There.
Go slap somebody.
But I mean, come on, man, you didn't get upset over a post. Again, this just shows how sensitive people are. It's a joke. Take it easy. It's part of fantasy football. We live with it. We made our coworker dress in a hula skirt, coconut bra, and he finished, and that was his punishment there. And that was his, we were gonna have him sit in the bar. I think he won like 2 games all year, and we were gonna write all his losing records. He had to sit there and hold a sign saying, "I suck at fantasy football."
Oh my
shit
God.
like that, right?
Yeah.
It's just common. And for someone to get that sensitive, to have to slap someone, win your fantasy league then, or just take your punishment like a grown ass man.
Yeah, and you make a lot of money. I mean, how much was in the pool there? I mean, seriously, like what, like go on with your life.
Like thousands of dollars for this kind of stuff, man. Like,
yeah, they make millions. They're professional baseball players. Baseball players make more money than anybody. So they come on. They just. I think it's time to let it go. If I ever was in that position and I lost in Final Fantasy, or excuse me, not Final Fantasy, fantasy football. I've never lost in Final Fantasy. I beat it actually. But anyway, so it wouldn't make any sense for me to get that mad to where I wanted to slap somebody. I'd just be like, oh, cool. I lost 30 G's. Great. I make $5 million a year. Here's your 30 G's. Have a good day.
Now you sound Draymond when he got punished. He goes, "I make $25 million a year. I think I'll be all right." That's what you just sounded like.
Hey, man, it's truth, right? It's truth. I mean, it doesn't sound good because a normal person watching the game is going to go, "Oh, you pompous asshole. How dare you flex your money on me," and blah, blah, blah. We all know what they make, right? You could go Google any sports figures contract from any sport, any athlete. You could look up there how much money they make. Their contracts are public. So it's not like we don't know. So yeah, of course we know Draymond gets a $25,000 slap on the arm, and he's not crying. You think he's at home going, I can't believe I lost 30,000. He's like, man, he's
Still
probably
got 6 zeros. Got 6 zeros in that account still. He'll be all right.
yeah, he's probably spent $30,000 on one shopping outing with one of his lady friends or his wife. I think he's married now.
He's a settled down man. He got 2 kids.
That's
I'll
right.
give him that.
That's right. No more pictures. No more pictures.
No, let's not get into that. Runty on the internet. If you guys don't know, just Google Draymond Green Snapchat. You just unlived that you wish you never seen.
Don't Google it, please. All right, so let's move on. We're going to stick at football, and you always like to have a fun topic at the end of our coverage here, and we like to talk. Today we're going to be talking about jerseys. We talked about jerseys for basketball and some of our favorites. Now we're going to talk about jerseys for football and some of the favorite jerseys that we have. So, Am I starting on this one, or is this you?
I'll start this one here.
Let's do it.
Okay, in no particular order. My first one goes to the Detroit Lions on the Thanksgiving Day with the silver helmet. I shouldn't say silver. It's more like a midnight gray with the blue jerseys.
Yeah.
Retro Barry Sanders. That's what everyone remembers it as. Those jerseys were clean,
basic, with the silver, yeah.
But you knew what was going on with that there.
Turkey Day.
Real quick, the Josh Osageda. What's up, brother? I hope Hawaii's treating you well, man. Go Warriors, indeed. I know you have some Boston ties, Mr. Boston man as well. So you throw in your prediction while we go through this list here, and we'll see how it looks. But getting back to my list here, so I had the Detroit Lions Thanksgiving. I know you're gonna hate this. The Raiders all-white jerseys, color rush with the silver writing. I thought that was clean. When I saw that, I was like, okay, those are dope. I was actually impressed by that there.
Okay.
For all my Niner fans out there, the throwback with the black number shadow, the red and the white.
Yeah.
That they won the Super Bowl in, and then the ones they wore this past year as well, I think had a really nice look to it there. I think I'll give them that. That was a dope jersey as well. You know me, I love my powder blue. I'm gonna go with the
Houston Oilers.
The blue with the white lettering and the red trim around it.
Yeah.
They dope.
Warren Moon.
Warren Moon days. If you haven't seen them, just Google them and tell me that those ain't some fly ass uniforms from back in the day. And then obviously I gotta throw my team in there. The all black Baltimore Raven uniforms there. Who doesn't love an all black uni? I'm a fan of it there. It's a nice jersey color there. So that is going to be my top 5. Taj Mahal, what's your 5 best uniforms?
Yeah, so we're going to start with my team, the Raiders. There's nothing better than silver and black. So just the all black with the silver. I love those jerseys. Those are iconic jerseys. You know who the Raiders are the moment you see that. Silver and black is iconic anywhere in the world, so you got to start with that. I never really liked the white jerseys. I just don't like, I just like black, So, the white with the silver was, okay, that's kind of bright, but I really like the original black jersey. The Raiders, the originators of that black jersey. Now everybody else kind of follows after us, but moving forward, the Bengals, who also stole some black from us, but the Bengals, I love those helmets, man. The orange and the black and the helmet. Then they have the striping on the sides, on the shoulders with the all black jersey. It's just really nice. I've always liked the design of the Bengals jersey, and that and that's not just the black one, even the white one. I just love Bengals.
Yeah, I like the white one. The white one's clean.
White one's clean. One too. Yeah, so I like this style.
Josh, the Niners suck. Don't you ever say the Ravens suck. The Niners suck. Suck on that.
All right. And
I had to.
And then
that pretty ferocious.
I'm with you, B, on the powder blue. So the powder blue Chargers Chargers uniform. Always love those. They're bright as all hell with the yellow and the powder blue. But they are something to behold. I can tell you that. If you want to be seen, we gonna see you in that shit. Oh yeah. So, And then my last one I picked because it's such an interesting story, at least in my mind. And it's the Buccaneers. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers used to wear the old creamsicle jerseys with the white and the lighter orange. They had the stupid helmet with the guy on it, looking,
holding the knife in his mouth,
just looking dumb. But then when they rebranded, they went to that green and the orange and the white, and it's just really it really is a weird color combination, but it really works. And I just really love like how kind of different that look was compared to a lot of what you saw around the league. And I really love those teams too. I enjoyed watching, Mike Allstott and Warren Sapp and some of those great players that they had during that time. Warwick Dunn, and some of the players they had during their championship and runs, and so they had a few different runs there. So I don't really like Tom Brady, so I can't. It's tough to say this, but really enjoy those jerseys.
The jersey there.
What's that?
I don't think you got 4. You missed one.
I missed one? Which one? Oh, the Jaguars. Yeah, the Jags. So the Jags, I always like the Jags jersey because they're always dark. I like when they wear the black as well. I think they have some, combined with the black helmet that they have on with the Jaguar head, always look really, really, really nice. So I remember when they first came out, when they were when their franchise was first started, back in, I don't remember, when was this? The late 90s, I think. When did they come in? I think like the late 90s, I want to say.
Yeah, like 97 or something like that, with the shiny black helmet, which that was a nice look. Now
the expansion team. Yeah.
This two-tone color helmet, it looks stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rachel, the Atlanta Falcons have some fire jerseys. Are you referring to
the OG ones? Like the 90s?
On the side?
Yeah.
Or are we talking about the Mean Machine jerseys that they're wearing now?
Yeah, because the OG ones was good too.
The Michael Vick ones.
Yeah.
And those were good. There's a lot of good ones out there. Like, for me as well, I think the old school Eagles, the all green with the silver writing.
Oh, yeah. That is hello school.
The Eagle helmet as well. I'd like to see the Eagles bring that back and kind of revert.
And even the Giants jerseys, the New York Giants, who are a terrible football team, but just the red lettering with the blue always had kind of a nice clean look to it. Yeah, the Pitbull, Michael.
Why'd you guys could have just leave that man alone? He did his time. What he did was wrong, but tell me another athlete who went to jail to serve his time.
None of them.
And did better out of it.
None
there.
Of them.
So again, what he did was absolutely wrong. I love dogs; they should never be treated like that.
But there are some football players that have treated people worse and are not in jail.
Jeez, that is true.
So yeah, man.
But
you can beat your wife. You can beat your wife, just not a dog.
Oh man, Ray Rice, you idiot! That's what just left her stuck in the elevator. Treated her so bad.
Well, that was terrible. That was awful. But he ain't the only one. There's a lot of other ones. So, all right. Anything else? Let me check well, you're on the chat, so I think we're good. Oh, Aaron Hernandez is dead.
With a skull on it.
Yeah, he's dead. He didn't do his time. He never finished it because he died.
Yeah, I mean, he was gonna die in that jail cell anyways.
And he committed murder. So
Did you watch that documentary, the Aaron Hernandez story on Netflix?
No, man, I didn't watch that. Man.
His wife has got to be one of the gangsterest wives ever.
For real?
Because there's a security camera footage of her literally throwing out the gun that he used to murder the guy, and in court they show the video, and she goes, "I don't recall that." When she's walking with this trash bag,
oh my goodness, man!
And taking out the trash, bro. It was something else. I was like, she really wants that money there.
Yep.
No, we're not talking about the double side being hella gangster. We're talking about the way she hid the gun and lied to them in court. Was like, what the hell? You're really going to sit here and lie in court and say that you had no idea that there was a gun in that trash bag? I really... Football
needs to fix some things, man, because... I mean, you got guys like was it Clinton Portis or something that's like defrauding the league for the medical plan and all that crap. There's like a group of players defrauding the NFL for hundreds of $1,000s of pain pills and crap that they're just milking it. I mean, the NFL is a weird place, man. They gotta figure some stuff out.
Hey, quick. Nope. Holding OJ. That's a good one, Josh. I like that one. That's a good one.
Who pulled OJ?
Aaron Hernandez's wife. When OJ said the glove don't fit.
Oh. Yeah, well.
That was a good one.
OJ's still walking. He's still breathing.
Yeah, he's still walking, but he ain't doing well. He's over here beating people up for autographs and shit like that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. The juice is loose.
You know what? This feels like an open discussion right now. It's a holiday weekend. We got a little extra time. If y'all want to open up the floor for an extra 5 minutes, by all means, throw some random shit out there. But real quick, Taj, we talked about this earlier. Did you get a chance to watch Stranger Things?
Oh yeah. So I only got through the first episode, and
that's all we're gonna talk about because I'm sure other.
I'm not gonna. People probably haven't seen it yet, so I'm not gonna get into details. It's good to see. It's good to see everybody. Yeah, it's good to see everybody come back. The original cast, but the brother, you know, he hit puberty harder than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like he looked like a whole different person. I was like, is that him? Oh man, he's a grown man. Hey, they got your boy Will still wearing the same clothes from season 2. What's up with that? They didn't even get him bigger clothes. They just gave him the same clothes, same style, same size. My man is choking. His life is choking. He can't breathe. I'm saying it was terrible, man. That was awful. They really need to get him some bigger clothes. Seriously.
I agree. 100%. OJ making juice. I don't know what juice he's making, but it's the juice. Everybody enjoy it. All the white women love the juice. I'll tell you that.
The juice is loose. Yes.
Oh yeah, he's back to
loose.
Being loose. Isn't he in jail right now too?
No, I don't think so. I think he's in jail anymore. He was for a while. I think he's out now. He's
dude. He's
hobbling around here.
How did you like the way the first episode ended?
Dude, I was like, this is a little intense, and I couldn't understand what was happening, you know, but it was extremely because all the other episodes things happen to people, you know. Rest in R.I.P. Barb. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. Barb.
Barb.
Peace. But she didn't go out like that though. I mean, she didn't go out like that. I mean, she got, but I mean, it was real graphic, I must say. And I thought it was about possession. You know, I thought he was, you know, they was possessing people. But now we just clapping folks. We just clapping people now. Before it was like, Will, you know, I'm gonna take over your body, Will. You know, I got you, know, and Will was, you know, wigging out, and
it got so dark, man. It was unreal, dude. And man. I couldn't sleep that night, so I was like, okay, I'll just watch the first episode. And I was like, I can't go to sleep now. This is dark, and the way the way they're gonna portray it. I finished it. I finished all the episodes here, so I'm not going to ruin it for everyone.
Don't ruin it for me. I've only seen episode 1.
We'll do our weekly touch base of Stranger Things, just so you know everyone gets our opinion on it. But
we'll do episode 2. We'll do next week.
We'll do next week. We'll throw it in our sports conversation here as a lighter note. But man, dude, Stranger Things took a dark road with this one. It got dark.
It's Stranger for sure. It's Stranger. That's correct. Stranger things are happening.
Absolutely. But all right, everyone. I don't know. You got anything else? I mean,
I think that's it.
I'm pretty good here, man. We got our NBA Finals matchup, dude. This is. I wish I could be here for next week. I'm gonna be in Utah for from Thursday to Monday, or actually till Sunday, and I'll be in Vegas for the day until we fly back out here. So. I was hoping to try to do our broadcast from the Chase Center for Game 2 of the NBA Finals. I was going to try to set up over there, but...
Saturday? When is that, Friday? Or no, Saturday?
No.
When is
It
it?
goes Thursday, Friday. They're
Oh,
off 2 days.
Thursday. Okay, got it. Okay.
So Thursday is game 1 on
Woo.
ABC. We don't own any copyrights. We're just letting you guys know what channel to watch it on. But yeah, Thursday and Sunday are games 1 and 2 at the Chase Center. So I was hoping to try to do a show there, but we all see what happens when live TV happens. The Warrior fans acted out of control here.
Oh, that's right. Throwing crap at Charles
We
Barkley.
just talked about that.
Oh
And
my
I
god.
looked up Charles Barkley throwing a cup, and he was ready to fire on
I would have
Warrior
too,
fans.
man.
They deserved it. They absolutely deserved it there. There is a fine line of banter before you start throwing stuff at people. And Charles Barkley ain't one of lightly to take that. I mean, he said some shit about San Francisco. I thought it was funny. It was messed up.
He says
but
stuff about everybody's team.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what he does, and they took it personally here. But Charles Barkley has always hated the Warriors, even when they were making the We Believe run in
Yeah,
2007.
he was a big hater.
With the passion there. So his love for the Warriors has never been there. That's not uncommon. It was just, I think Warrior fans just took it a little too far. But it was also a little antagonized by your boy Shaq. Over here yelling Barkley sucks and, getting the crowd fired up, but just got to know how to contain yourself in those kind of situations. You can't be throwing stuff at people and expect no retaliation to take place. But man, TNT cut to commercial real quick. They're like, it's a commercial now.
Oh
End it now.
man, it's a bad look, but
All right, well, just to recap our NBA final picks, the more important ones outside of the goofball ones, Tosh Mall has, say it, Tosh. I just want to hear you say it one more time.
Celtics
Hey.
in 7.
There it is. We've got the Warriors in 7, folks. Everyone on this chat, leave a comment who you think is going to take this year's NBA Finals, experience versus youth. To everyone who's tuned in and watched, thank you guys so much. Again, we love you guys making this part of our nightly show. We really appreciate you guys, and thank you. We're up to 52 subscribers now, man. We've hit the 50 mark. So thank you to everyone. We promise things are going to be getting better down the road, but we just love doing this. Taj, you got anything to end it on?
Yeah, man, that's it, man. We started with 0, and now we got 52. So just appreciative of everybody who's coming in and chiming in on our conversations, man. Like I said, when we first started this, we were just doing it for the hell of it. We always have these conversations each week anyway. So now we're just putting it on wax, so everybody can listen in. So just appreciative of everybody for showing up. And there's a lot more to come. So it's exciting times.
Joy Memorial. What holidays is Memorial Day?
Tomorrow. Yeah, Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. Thank you to all the veterans.
Happy Memorial Day. Thank you to all the veterans, past and present.
Yes. So really understand what Memorial Day is all about. It's not just about barbecuing, and even though I barbecue today, it's not all about that. It's about the people who have made this possible for all of us here. So thank you guys for that. But T, you have yourself a good week, man. Well, I'll be doing the show from my phone.
All right, just let me know. We'll update y'all on the timing if anything changes.
Yep.
All right.
All right, y'all. Have a good one. Thanks again, everyone.
Laters.